Welcome students. In our earlier lecture, we have learned that how numerous types of bacteria participate in the food industry. Today in this episode, we are going to learn about another group of bacteria which participate in the production of different food items. And this particular group of bacteria is called lactic acid bacteria or LAB. The lactic acid bacteria are gram-positive, they are non-spore forming, and they show three different types of morphology. They can be either rods, they can be coccus, or they can be coccobacillus in morphology. Here you can find the different morphology of the lactic acid bacteria. In the case of Pediococcus, they are round in shape. They may occur in clusters or they may be identical. However, in the case of Lactobacillus bulgaricus, they are rod-shaped. These rod-shaped bacteria are joined to one another, forming a chain-like structure. And this is a particular characteristic feature of the Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Another genus which is very important in this is Leuconostoc. Leuconostoc is not a bacillus nor it is a coccus. Rather, it is coccobacillus in morphology. That means a part of it is a rod shape while the other terminal part is round or globose, and therefore this is called a coccobacillus appearance. So all the three types of morphology have been found in different genera which belong to lactic acid bacteria. Two important genera of the lactic acid bacterial group is Lactococcus and Lactobacillus. As their morphology also changes, the name also changes accordingly. For example, the Lactococcus lactes are the one which show a coccus or a round shape. However, in the case of Lactobacillus brevis, we find the rod-shaped bacteria, though all of them are gram-positive in their gram character. All the lactic acid bacteria grow anaerobically and they are aerotolerant microbes. That means they grow in the absence of oxygen and that is why they are anaerobes. However, they can tolerate the presence of oxygen and therefore they are called aerotolerant. Now, this tolerance of oxygen is not because of the presence of catalase and oxidase, because they lack the enzymes catalase and oxidase. Rather, they show presence of another enzyme which is called superoxide dismutase, and they have other alternative means by which they can detoxify the peroxide radicals or the superoxide radicals. Coming on to the fermentative mechanism of the lactic acid bacteria. Now, each of the bacteria have got a specialized metabolic pathway, and because of this specialized metabolic pathway, they are being used by the food industry. Otherwise, any bacteria could have been used in the food industry, while it is not so. So, these specialized metabolic or fermentative pathway that is exhibited by the lactic acid bacteria can be classified into two important types. Number one is called heterolactic fermentative pathway and number two is called the homolactic fermentative pathway. Let us learn what is the difference between the two pathways. If we study the homolactic fermentative pathway, here we see that the glucose which is present in their substrate is converted to glucose 6-phosphate, which is further converted to fructose 6-phosphate and then to fructose 1,6-diphosphate. This fructose 1,6-diphosphate now splits up into three carbon atom containing compounds. One is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and the other one is dihydroxyacetone phosphate. These two compounds are interconvertible. As a result of this, we have production of pyruvate, or 2 moles of pyruvate are being produced, and from these 2 moles of pyruvate we have production of 2 moles of lactate or lactic acid. So, the product that is formed in the homolactic fermentative pathway is only lactate or lactic acid. While in the case of heterolactic fermentative pathway, here you can see over here, with the formation of glucose 6-phosphate, we have formation of ribulose 5-phosphate and then xylulose 5-phosphate, which splits up into two components. One is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and acetyl phosphate. Now these two are not interconvertible. As a result, the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted to pyruvate, which is further converted to lactate or lactic acid. On the other hand, the acetyl phosphate is converted to acetaldehyde and then we have formation of ethanol. So what happens in the heterolactic fermentative pathway is we have production of two different things. One is lactic acid and the other one is the ethanol. And that is why this is called a heterolactic, while in the homolactic we have formation of only one type of product. There is another fermentative pathway which is exhibited by some species or some genera of the lactic acid bacteria, and that is called malolactic fermentation. Malolactic fermentation basically refers to the conversion of malic acid, which is naturally present in grapes, to lactic acid, and therefore this is called a malolactic fermentation. Different genera are present which can carry out this fermentation process, and two important genera are Enococcus eni and Lactococcus lacti. In the case of Enococcus eni, which thrives at a much low acidic pH, at a pH of 4, they can convert this malic acid which is naturally present in their substrate. They take this malic acid inside their cell and convert it into lactic acid, and this lactic acid now comes out of the cell. So this is done by Enococcus eni. While in the case of Lactococcus lacti, which can not thrive at a low pH but it can thrive at a pH of 6, this malic acid can again be converted to lactic acid and this lactic acid is transported out of the cell. So this is the example of malolactic fermentation in two different genera, but the difference is the pH is the one who regulates that which type of genera will be present, who will convert the malic acid to lactic acid. However, during this conversion you will find that whether it's Enococcus or Lactococcus, there is loss of a single charge. So let us see the examples of the different types of bacteria which carry out these three different types of fermentative mechanisms. The homofermentative lactic acid bacteria are Pediococcus, Streptococcus and Lactococcus. They carry out this fermentation with the help of EMP pathway, or we call it the Embden-Meyerhof-Parnas pathway. However, in the case of heterofermentative lactic acid fermentation, the bacteria use the hexose monophosphate or pentose pathway. The two important genus are Vessella and Leuconosta. However, in the case of malolactic fermentation, we find that Lactococcus lacti and Enococcus eni carry out the malolactic fermentation. Coming on to a very special genus of lactic acid bacteria is Carnobacterium. This Carnobacterium is a newly discovered genus, and the speciality of this bacterium is it can tolerate a high pressure, it can tolerate a freezing temperature, and it can grow anaerobically with increased concentration of carbon dioxide. It can also metabolize arginine and various carbohydrates including chitin, and therefore these bacteria, especially Carnobacterium divergens and Carnobacterium maltaromaticum, are used as a protective culture in order to inhibit the growth of Listeria monocytogenes, which grows at a very low temperature and spoils the it spoils the freezing meat and the fish product. So if we are able to ferment Carnobacterium in this freezing temperature, they can inhibit the growth of Listeria. Now let us understand what are the uses of this lactic acid bacteria in the food industry. The lactic acid bacteria can be used as a functional starter culture. Starter culture means a bacterium which could start up a fermentation process because it has got many characteristic features by which the fermentation process could be accelerated. So you have the formation of the fermented food product. And therefore what happens is a microbial culture or a lactic acid bacteria is produced and the biomass increases, from where the moisture content is removed, and this biomass could be packed in a packet and then sold commercially as a starter culture to the food industry. Another important characteristic feature of the lactic acid bacteria is they are used during the production of cheese, a very important dairy product in the food industry. The cheese can be produced with the help of two different subspecies of Lactococcus lactis. One is Lactococcus lactis subspecies lactis and the other one is Lactococcus lactis subspecies cremoris. Now during the formation of the cheese, we say that the pasteurized milk is added with this particular starter culture, and when this culture is being added, the curdling of the milk takes place. After this, the whey is being removed and the solid part goes in for the processing, which is further subjected to the ripening, and therefore after ripening of the cheese, we have the formation of different types of cheese. Lactic acid bacteria also participates in the formation of yogurt, which is very widely consumed by the human population. Now yogurt production can be of two types. One is called the set yogurt and the other one is called the stirred yogurt. The basic difference between the two is, in the case of the set product or set yogurt, the flavoring is done first and then we have the inoculation with the lactic acid bacteria. However, in the case of the stirred product, the inoculation is first done with the lactic acid bacteria, and in the ultimate or in the terminal stages, you have the flavoring or you have the addition of the flavoring agent. So this is the basic difference, and then they goes in for the fermentation process and you have the formation of yogurt. The main bacteria that is used for this is Lactobacillus bulgaricus or Lactobacillus acidophilus, along with another species of Streptococcus, and that is Streptococcus thermophilus. So with the help of the symbiotic association of these two bacteria, you have the formation of the yogurt. Another important product which the industry goes in for is the production of buttermilk. Now initially this buttermilk was taken as a byproduct during the formation of a butter. Because what happens is, during the formation of a butter, you have the churning of the cream. When the cream is being extracted out, the liquid portion that remains is known as buttermilk, to which the flavoring agent could be added and it could be consumed. This buttermilk can be prepared by the use of Streptococcus lactis along with Leuconostoc citrovorum. As a result of this, the buttermilk tastes very nice and it is also healthier to consume. So during the production of the butter, we can say that when the butter granules are being taken out, the raw butter is prepared from these butter granules and the liquid portion that comes out is the buttermilk. Production of the sour cream is another product which can be made with the help of lactic acid bacteria. In the sour cream preparation, the cream is taken out during the butter preparation and this cream is now inoculated with two different bacteria. It is Streptococcus lactis and Lactobacillus, by which the cream gets a sour taste as well as it becomes much thicker in composition. So development of the sour cream takes place. Kefir is another product which is being produced by the food industry. Kefir is a liquid acidified milk product to which we add the kefir granules. Now these kefir granules are nothing but they are complex and specific mixture of the bacteria and yeast which are held together by means of the polysaccharide matrix. The bacteria which is present in the kefir granules is Lactobacillus and Propionibacterium. So the addition of the kefir granules in the milk bring about the coagulation of the protein part and therefore the milk so produced is an acidified milk product known as kefir. Sauerkraut production is another way by which the lactic acid bacteria has been exploited. Now, sauerkraut is nothing but a fermented cabbage leaf. Here you can see the picture over here. A fresh cabbage leaf looks like green in color. So this fresh cabbage is cut into pieces, into tiny pieces, and then this is inoculated first not with the bacteria. It is called a wild fermentation because here we do not inoculate the cabbage leaves with a bacteria, but we leave it as it is, and therefore this fermentation is known as wild fermentation, which is nothing but a natural fermentation process. So the cabbage leaves are taken, they are washed thoroughly, and then they are cut into pieces, and then we add about 3 to 4% of salt in this cabbage leaves. After that, they are kept in the bottle. Over here you can see the picture. So after they have been kept in a bottle and they are enclosed properly, what happens after a few days, we find that the naturally occurring coliform bacteria, which may be Klebsiella pneumoniae, Klebsiella oxytoca or Enterobacter cloaca. So these members of the coliform bacteria that are naturally present in the cabbage leaves, they start the process of fermentation. That is the process of sauerkraut formation. The coliform bacteria so present, they now produce huge amount of acid and gas, and after that their population decreases. Now the environment is being taken up by a heterofermentative lactic acid bacteria, and that is Leuconostoc. The Leuconostoc population gradually increases, and now they start up the fermentation process, and they also produce a huge amount of gas and acidic products, which cannot be tolerated by the Leuconostoc species. As a result, they also start diminishing in their number. Ultimately, the fermentation is carried out by the lactic acid bacteria, especially the genus Lactobacillus, or in some cases it can be Pediococcus. And they ultimately carry out the fermentation process, and the product so obtained is called a sauerkraut production. So like the coca processing, where we have seen a succession of the microbe was there, in the sauerkraut production or in the sauerkraut production process, we also find there is a succession of 3 different types of microbes. Production of kimchi is another product which is formed because of the help of the lactic acid bacteria. Kimchi is nothing but a fermented vegetables. That means the vegetables become sour in taste, and then they are consumed by many people who are present worldwide. Now, Lactobacillus plantarum, Lactobacillus brevis, Leuconostoc mesenteroides and Pediococcus pentosaceus, they are the important genera which are being used for the production of kimchi, where the vegetables are inoculated with these different genera of the lactic acid bacteria, and they are kept in the wooden barrels. Here you can see over here, they are kept in the wooden barrel. Sometimes in some tropical areas, they are also kept under the soil for the fermentation to be carried on for weeks or for months, and then after that they take out the vegetables from the barrel and they consume it as their cuisines. In wine production also, we need the help of the lactic acid bacteria. No, wine is produced with the help of yeast cells, but the clarification of the wine is also a very essential step, and therefore we say that during production, though we do not need the help of lactic acid bacteria, but during the processing of the wine, we do need the help of the lactic acid bacteria. Why? Because the malic acid which is present naturally in the grapes can be converted to lactic acid only with the help of the genera which is Lactobacillus. So again, the malolactic fermentation is carried on, and therefore the processing of the wine takes place. Here I show you a paper chromatography sheet which shows that how the processing can be assessed in an industry. Here you find that 1, 2, 3, 4 different lanes are there. The uppermost spot that you can see over here is the spot which depicts the presence of the lactic acid. The lowermost yellow spot shows the presence of the tartaric acid, and in between we find a spot which depicts the presence of malic acid. Now let us understand this sheet very carefully, which is done normally during the processing of the wine. This wine which is being shown here in the first lane shows the presence of two spots. One is tartaric acid and the other one is lactic acid. So total absence of the malic acid. However, in this lane you can find that the presence of tartaric acid. Malic acid is there along with the lactic acid. So this shows that this wine is not processed properly because the malic acid which is naturally present is not converted to lactic acid. So this will not be considered as a good wine in comparison to the other one which shows the formation of lactic acid along with the tartaric acid. So this is how we can say that different types of bacteria, depending upon their specialized metabolic activity, can be exploited in the food industry. Now these metabolic activities are very specific, which depends on temperature, which depends on the pH, which depends on the substrate, and which also depends upon the association of the other microbes, because it may happen that you want to produce the acetic acid, however there may be a contamination of a lactic acid bacteria. So that again has to be considered during the fermentation process. So all this shows that the bacteria is the one through which we can have numerous fermented products or the products of the microbial origin which are healthier, which are tastier. Thank you.